What's up, Internet? This is Vesture here with
Pride.
And we are here bringing you our review of the Simpsons Family Guy crossover, which appeared last Sunday on Fox. Now, this was an hour-long episode, ultimately a Family Guy episode. Simpsons had that season premiere with Death in the Family, and...
Batman reference.
Batman. Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Which, when you love to have a relationship like Joker and Harley.
No, stop. Harley is not okay. No,
we're gonna save that table flip for another time. But
so how was it?
I loved it. I really was very impressed with the balance of the humor between the two. They were on top of their A game. I'd say A- game, but they were still. The quality was very much improved over the last few seasons of both shows. It's a lot more tame. Family Guy relies less on shock value. And Simpsons kind of step out of their depth, which is good to see. Overall, I would say the two families played off very much of each other. There's a lot of clever humor, which was very surprising. It wasn't like the obvious... They had some of the obvious jokes you would expect in a crossover like this. But honestly, they had a lot of things that really surprised me. A lot of very obscure references from both shows that call back from seasons 5 and 6 of Simpsons, which caught me off guard.
Wow, that sounds pretty extensive. So overall, you think it was good? Like you said, what, A-?
I'd give it an B plus A-. Mostly because. They did away with almost all the cutaways of Family Guy, which really, that was a breath of fresh air. And with The Simpsons, it kind of goes back to like old school Simpsons humor without relying too much on guest appearances and very, very forced storylines. Even though, I guess you could say the storyline is forced in this one, but you kind of have to with a crossover. But it still, in a way, seems kind of natural, in a sense, given the fact that this is still from the Family Guy universe, ultimately.
Yeah, well, that's really cool and interesting. I haven't had a chance to see it. I'm kind of a big Simpsons fan. Family Guy I've watched for a while. I'm assuming you're, a mild Simpsons fan yourself.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, seems about right. So, artwork style. Did the two, because Simpsons got a very distinct art style, and so does Family Guy. Like Family Guy, you can kind of tell some things Family Guy designed based on just looking at it. How do you think that they balanced the art?
It's definitely more colorful from a Family Guy than what Family Guy's used to. The colors are brighter, and you also got that more 3D and open world of Family Guy that you don't see in the Simpsons world. I guess the art style reminded me mostly of the Simpsons movie, which
cool.
Which was definitely also pleasant. I really liked the way that the two families were drawn together.
That's really cool. It's good to know. So again,
Pun definitely intended.
Yes. Throwing together another question, a very similar question. Simpsons got a very original style of humor. Like we're all very familiar with Matt Groening's style of comedy. And with Family Guy, we're very familiar with Seth MacFarlane's style of comedies too. What do you think, when you watch the episode? Is it more like a Family Guy episode in sense of humor, or Simpsons? Could you be like, oh, Matt Groening definitely wrote this episode, or no, this is totally Seth MacFarlane's giant hand kind of controlling fates? Who do you think was more in control here of
That is a really, really good question. Ultimately, it doesn't seem like either or. I would honestly compare the style of humor to more Futurama and American Dad.
Nice.
Basically, there's a lot of very subtle jokes that you could pick up on. Like I said, you're lacking the cutaways from Family Guy, and there's one, I would say, the closest thing to come to it, shock humor is a joke between Stewie and Bart when they're doing prank phone calls to Mo. But overall, it's weird because it's very tame in the sense of a Family Guy episode, yet very clever and subtle for a Simpsons episode.
It's really cool. Very cool. It makes me interested. So, you recommend this to people fans of one or the other show?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely, even if you, I mean, unless you absolutely hate Family Guy and Simpsons, if you've ever been a fan of either one, this is definitely a breath of fresh air, and, it's very different. It's a very different and unique style.
That's very cool. Refreshing to hear, at least. I've always kind of been a fan of The Simpsons, and I kind of lost track after it's somewhere between season 6 and 26. So, how did the characters really play off of each other?
Let's see, in my opinion, the strongest ones were definitely Homer and Peter and Bart and Stewie, which, they bring out a lot of their old style characters, like Stewie's evil plotting, but also very, it's kind of weird to see Stewie in almost an innocent baby. This is the most I've seen in an actual Stewie being Stewie, and the fact that he has the innocence of a baby yet still the evil mind of a genius. Stewie's just so impressed with Bart's playful mischief as opposed to the stressful dealings on that Stewie has to deal with as far as time traveling and all this other stuff. Homer and Peter is pretty much, well...
You'd expect Homer and Peter to be.
Yeah, exactly. They also had this hilarious scene in the courtroom where basically everyone starts interacting with their other counterpart. You have scenes with Quagmire and Lenny, Cleveland and Carl, another cameo that I will not dare spoil here, but it was very intelligent and...
Yeah, you told me about that one.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well, I guess we'll just kind of end this with final thoughts.
Final thoughts, very, very solid episode. It was funny the entire way through. The final fight between Peter and Homer, which we all knew was going to eventually play a part, does sort of drag, but not any more than any other, in my opinion, Peter and Chicken fight. But yeah, the humor is quick-witted. The characters are very well done here. The only ones I will say were being underplayed was Lois and Marge. They really honestly didn't have any screen time, which I was kind of upset about. But, other than that, I would say that I would definitely, again, A-, B+, very, very solid.
Sucks to hear about the Marge and the Lois thing. I feel like they could have had a good joke there or two.
I've read enough fanfics. I've seen
Yeah, the fan fiction. Yeah, we here at Nerds It Around do not condone fan fiction. Not even the ones we write ourselves. Well, that's going to go ahead and end things up here. So this was Vesture's review of...
The Simpsons Family Guy. The Simpsons Guy.
So, good night, Internet.